powerful you were. I'll put it that way. If you had the money to get out of contracts, you could get out of them. In those days, nobody was running around trying to get out of contract if something bad happened or you weren't getting along with the producer or you weren't getting paid. So between 1963 and 65, I was signed to Philip. I got one royalty statement from Philip for $3,000, and that was it. I never got another dime from Phil. That's when we started not really getting along. And back in those days, like 20 years ago, it didn't bother me as much then because I was young, inexperienced, and never thought at the time that I was being used or whatnot by Philip. It wasn't until years later that I started feeling like that I was really being used by Phil because the records were still being produced and still being put out under my name, under the Crystals' names, under Bobby Sox and the Blue Jeans' name, and nobody was getting paid. And I was just feeling that I was really being exploited now at this time. Here it is 20 years later, and I'm still not getting any money from Philip. And I think enough is enough. It's really weird. I had two favorite things that I did with Phil. One was the Christmas album, because it was something that nobody had ever even thought of doing before. Everything that happened after that Christmas album followed Phil Spector's Christmas album. It had never been done before. You had the Bing Crosby's White Christmas and the pretty Christmas songs, the religious Christmas songs. They were all done very pretty and very beautiful. And Phil Spector comes along and rock and roll it.
Okay, we're moving right along to the Phil Spector Show. Well, here's Cher.
There are many who have laid with me, then got
From pizzas to promotion to production, the other half of Cher, what's Sonny Bono going to tell them about Phil Spector?
I was a promotion man. I went and got the records played, and I worked at the distributorship that handled his product. And it's always nice for a promotion man when you can walk into a radio station, give them a record, and they're just dying to play it. Usually, it's the opposite. You know, you have to take them to dinner, give them money, choke them, anything to get a record played. But they were always happy to get a Phil Spector record because they always knew it would be a hit. So it was such a treat to do that, and I was just absolutely mesmerized by his records. So he used to come from New York once in a while, have meetings on the product, and when he did, I just was determined that I was going to go to work for him. So I just told him, I said, Philip, I want to work for you, just you. And I told him I'd work for any amount of money for any amount of time. And so he was happy with that, and he worked me for no money and a lot of time. I think his downfall was that he duplicated himself, his sound all the time. And I think when Philip and I broke communication, when I was his promotion man, I said, Phil, I think we've got to change the sound, because after a certain period of time, it didn't get the same reaction that it did for a couple years, you know. Then we kept duplicating this one single sound. After a while, nobody had the enthusiasm that they originally had, you know, and as the enthusiasm dropped, then it became a problem getting those records played. That was something he just didn't want to confront, you know, having to go with a different sound. And frankly, I don't know if he can. You know, basically everything he's ever done is beautiful, but it's basically all that big wall of sound.
Please, Phil Spector, make me a star. Help me get up where the righteous brothers are.
Let's see what the goddaughter of Phil Spector has to say about her goddad. She's the daughter of Lenny Bruce. And Phil, if you're listening, give these guys a break, huh?
Mr. Spector, I get down on my knees to you.
For everybody that's watching this, what I want you to know about Phil Spector is that, number one, that he's a good father. He's a real good dad. And he takes care of his children, and they have dinner together, and he's a good man. He's a good person. He paid for my father's funeral. He loves to decorate. He takes care of his house. His house is, everything is in velvets, and it's very important to him how things are decorated.